Brisbane, Saturday the 6th of September, I believe. And I hope you are all having a great day. Sorry, the 5th of September. I hope you're all having a great day, morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are. What I thought I'd do is I hope what is a relatively short broadcast to show how you can create decals on the underside of the rear wing of your race cars in GT Sport on PlayStation 4. I had a conversation the other night with a couple of my racing friends, and the topic came up and a couple of them weren't quite sure how to do it, so I thought rather than try to talk them through on the fly, I would actually make a video. So I've sent an invite out, and in particular to my mate in New Zealand, I am Thrimpy. Hope he's having a good morning. He's been up a couple of hours before us due to the timeline changes, but yeah, so I'm going to get straight into it. So what you can see here on my screen is my channel name, and I've started putting that on the underside of the rear wing for a couple of reasons. One of those is that it frees up the rear bumper, and secondly, some of the race cars don't exactly have the right amount of what I'll call real estate to allow me to put my channel name on there. So the underside of the rear wing in most cases is a great alternative. In some cases it's not, depending on the curvature, if you like, of the actual main wing foil, but overall I think it's a better spot for it, and it's more easily read too in a lot of cases. So what do you need to do? Well, the first step is obviously getting your decal or creating your decal. Now you'll see on this decal I've got a combination of letters out of the Livery Editor keyboard, for want of a better term, in the Livery Editor, and then I've obviously got the YouTube decal as well. And so what I've done is I've actually already created that, and you'll see I've created it on the upper side or the top side of the rear wing, which you have to do. So then what is the next step? So the next step I've actually already done for this particular decal that I've selected, which is the F letter. And what you do is you click on the set projection area button just there. You can see it highlighted, see set projection area. Click on that, and what you want to do is you want to drag the bar all the way to the right to its maximum, both on angle limit and depth limit, and you can see I've already done that. Then hit OK. Now we're ready to go, and what you'll find has happened because I've done that is effectively the F has now bled all the way through the rear wing and is appearing on the underside right there. So now what I need to do is locate it. So that's pretty simple. I'm just going to drag it up and then drag it across. Sorry, it's the reverse obviously because we are upside down now with the decal itself. Now obviously if you have a program and you make your own decals, I have got a program, I've started playing with it, it's called Inkscape, I think, off the top of my head. I've made one decal with it. For those of you who have watched other broadcasts, you'll know that I don't particularly like using anything other than the Livery Editor tool in the game. I'm a bit of a purist from that perspective, but I understand for lots of people who want to create lots of really cool logos, you know, each to their own. If they want to do it, that's fine, but I don't. But I did create one, and maybe if you have a long word or something like that that you use frequently, it might be a good idea to do it. I'm still persisting with the old-fashioned way. So I've located it in the right spot, but obviously you can see as a result of me bleeding it through and looking at it and trying to read from left to right, it's inverted or it's reversed. So I just simply have to horizontally flip it like so, and it's good to go. And then it's just a case of repeating the process. So bang, I'll do it again one more time. This is the L obviously I've selected. Hit OK. That will now have bled through to the underside of the, oh sorry, plug in front of my face, underside of the rear wing. So now I just bring it up and we'll drag it across. Now I can do this faster by zooming out. You'll see the speed of movement is faster, but it also means your accuracy with your controller has to be better. And then I've just got to locate it correctly in alignment. I'm not using any guidelines on the underside. I could, and for those of you who are fairly new to creating liveries, you may want to do the same guideline setup as I've done at the top. I guess I did it today. I did this guideline today because I wanted to have a very accurate decal to show you for this broadcast, but generally speaking I wouldn't do the guidelines. I just rely on my eyes, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to flip it. It's probably a bit close. Sorry, I've got this little bug flying in front of my face. Hopefully it'll shoo away in a minute, or I'll get it, one of the two. Again, spacing wise, you know, it's all about your eyes, isn't it, really? And I don't have young man's eyes, as they say, but I'm getting there. Now I'm going to go through all this fairly quickly because there is a final 2 steps effectively that I do need to make sure that you're aware of, because I think they are obvious, but at the same time, I guess to do the right thing by making this broadcast, I do need to highlight it. So yeah, just bear with me. Okay, the O's are always the tricky ones. For those of you who've done lots of decals, you'll understand what I'm saying there. For those of you who haven't, you'll learn it. Okay, that's good. So I'm just going to try and be as fast as I can. Oops, sorry, wrong button. Fast as I can with this, guys, so bear with me. I do have another 5 characters or 6 items to go, if I can say that. 5 characters and then the YouTube logo, so I'm just going to rip it as fast as I can. I don't know if there's anything else that I can speak about while I'm going through the motions here. The one thing that I would say for anybody that watches this video or joins the broadcast while it's happening, if there is anything to do with livery design that you would like to understand or you've been struggling with, I am not sitting here saying that I am the ultimate guru of livery design, because I'm certainly not. But I have done a lot of liveries. I think I'm up to 480, I believe. And so I guess the benefit that you'll get from asking me the question is you will I'm going to flip that W, by the way, I didn't do that, is that you'll learn by me telling you about the mistakes that I've made along the way, and I've made plenty. And you know, that is the journey of doing livery design. And for those of you who are at the start, I certainly encourage you to just checking to take the journey and oh, well, I just did it. Sorry. Let's get it right. There you go. Take the journey, because it is worthwhile. It's a lot of fun doing livery design. You know, I think if I go back to the Gran Turismo 5 days where they first started letting you do anything to the cars, it was a bit of a hoot to be able to go in there and do stuff to your car to make it unique. And I think in Gran Turismo Sport they've taken it to a higher level again than what they had, and I hope that in GT7 they will really put a focus on it, because it has really become something that a lot of the players, and I need to flip this too, don't I? A lot of the players really enjoy doing. I know, I guess my closest friends in the game, the common thing that we have is the love of creating our own liveries, and all of my friends do different things. A couple of them are really into doing replicas of early Australian race cars, and for anybody that's an aficionado or is interested in Australian motor racing history, definitely search out one player whose ID is John Nick, J-O-N-N-I-C, and another player is V8R Us, because they both have an amazing knowledge of Australian motorsport history, and have both also done really fantastic liveries. So certainly would encourage you to will change it to match the colour or colours of the rest of the decal. But I think on this car, with the colour scheme that I have, and I haven't shown you this car's full livery yet, but I will. Oops, sorry, my bad. I think the black will be okay. Let me just bring it up, line it up, good enough. I'm not being lazy, I just think that's okay. It's the red's a bit higher, but it is thicker than the rest of the decal, so I'm okay with that. Alright, so we now have the underside done, and I hope that you think it looks effective, so we can move on to the next step. So we finished that. Now obviously, as I said, it bled through, so that's what we're left with on the upside, and of course that's not what you want anybody to see. So next step is effectively concealing it, and it's pretty simple. You're just going to add a layer over the top. Now the tip here for everyone is, obviously if you are picking special colours for your liveries, it's going to be tricky, because anybody trying to colour match, or has ever tried to colour match, particularly on some of the special colours, such for example any of the colours that have got flakes, it's pretty much impossible to match the colour, because you can't go into the Livery Editor standard colours and pick a colour that has a flake. I'm not trying to discourage you from using those colours, because I use them all the time. Some of those colours are absolutely beautiful. I'm just saying, be prepared that it will be a tricky exercise for you. So when deciding whether you want to do that, yeah, just bear that in mind. Now I've tried to match this colour, which obviously isn't a flake colour, as close as I can. I think I'm pretty close to it. I don't know, you guys can be the judge. You might see a slight difference, but it's, you know, minuscule. Anyway, I've now done that, and the upside of the wing is ready to be adorned with a different decal. So I don't know what I might put on there. I might put the company that I run on there. Pretty simple stuff. Go in, grab your decal. This is the only decal that I've created, by the way, using that Inkscape program. It is our company. Chance to give it a plug. We manage IT services predominantly in Australia. We do have an office in the Pacific, and we can also procure a lot of the leading brand products to be delivered or shipped anywhere around the world. So yeah, if you need any solutions, look us up on the internet. We're spelled TechWise with a Q, and I think I might change the colour. I normally like a white. White definitely stands out more, doesn't it? If I was not in a hurry, I would actually customize that decal with the Q, as I've done many times, but I won't. For the sake of this broadcast, I'll leave it as is. But there you can see I have effectively done an underside decal. Like I said, some of the wing shapes will be quite flat, and so you also have to consider, based on what kind of decal you're putting on, whether it's worth your while. You know, is it going to be that visible? You know, if I look at that scenario, this is about the height that you're in most cars in your cockpit view or your bumper view. Obviously roof view is higher, but if I then zoom out, you can see it's clearly visible, and that's what you want. If you're going to invest the time in putting a decal on it, you want it to be seen. Otherwise, you know, you don't want to feel like you've wasted your time. As far as the rest of the livery goes, this is part of a series that I race in a league now called Motorsport Network Racing. We race on a Monday night and a Thursday night. I don't know all of the rules because I don't run it. It's run by a player whose ID is SSBoy, B-O-I, and his name's Matt, and there is both a Facebook page and I believe a website. I don't know all the rules. All I know is that we race on a Monday night and a Thursday night, and I think that, you know, probably the most important rule would be whether there are any limitations on you racing with us based on the region you might be in. You know, i.e., are you in the Asia Pacific region, or are you in Europe, South America, North America, and you know, are you allowed to race, because that could obviously impact the quality of the room in terms of connectivity. I know from my racing in Race on Oz, that was one thing that they did limit, because they knew that internet connectivity could impact the racing and therefore people's enjoyment. So just if you're interested, check it out. I know there's lots of racing leagues. This one's not a big one, but the good news is that it's a good bunch of guys who race very cleanly and very fairly, and we have a good time too. Okay, I'm not finished this livery, but that was all I wanted to broadcast for this session. If you are interested in any of my liveries, and maybe I can jump and show you some others. I've got another minute. What I can do is save this one, although it's probably going to chew up most of the time doing the save and the upload, but let's do it anyway. I probably will share this livery, so feel free to go into the Discover section and look under car liveries. Do a search under Iflowboy, Iflowboy. That is where you'll find all the liveries that I've shared. And when I say all, there's not that many. I might have shared maybe now 30 perhaps out of my 470, 480 odd. And you will have to obviously search through the pages. I apologise that the PlayStation / Gran Turismo search feature isn't that fantastic, in that it will allow you to quickly search all of somebody's liveries. It effectively goes in, you know, day by date that you posted them. So I guess the good news is most of my liveries that I have posted in the last 4 to 5 months. So the bulk of them, it won't take you long to find them if you do want to look. Most of them actually do say there's a little reference to the fact that they're a shared livery on the back. I'll get into that on another broadcast, or if you want to know, you can message me and ask. But like I said, my liveries are there, and you're more than welcome to go and have a look either in Scape's photos or in car liveries, and have a look at the cars, and if there are any cars that you like, feel free to download them. And I hope you like the designs. So I said I'd show you a couple of others that I've done. Now let me just think about which ones I've actually done. I think I have done this one. This is a Group 2 Honda NSX, which I have shared, and the way I can tell is that I usually, when I do a shared livery, I will change the wheels and I will put the word shared livery on the back of the car. Now, I usually do that, as you'll see, I usually do it in small font so that it's not immediately obvious, because it's not about me telling everybody that you're running around with my livery everywhere, but it's more for me to be able to differentiate myself with the car shows that I enter. So you can see there, it's pretty small, shared livery, and there's a single decal, so that was very easy and quick to do, and again I think it looks pretty effective. So in this case I didn't put my channel there. This is a fairly quick livery to do, I have to confess. Probably the most mucking around was getting those curves right over the front guards, but yeah, this one's available to download and use if you like. Interestingly, it's a similar blue to that RCZ we were just looking at. Trying to think which other ones I've recently done that have got the rear spoiler. Did I do that one? I may have done this one. Let me just double check, people. If this is of interest to you, continue watching. If it's not, totally understand if you switch off. But please, before you do, if you wouldn't mind, be very... no, I didn't do this one. This doesn't really allow you to do it. Not very effective. I would really appreciate if you did subscribe to my channel. I'm not quite sure if you're familiar with how the whole YouTube thing works, but basically, the more subscribers that you have, the more that YouTube actually rewards you. I don't get anything at the moment because I don't have enough subscribers, but if I can get to a certain level, then YouTube starts to reward you financially, and what that means for me is that I can actually then spend more time doing stuff and doing the stuff that people watching would like to see. I'm just trying to remember. Where's the Emeco Mercedes? Sorry guys, I'm just trying to remember the last few that I've done, and I think I did the Emeco Mercedes. I think this one has it. I apologise if it doesn't, because I just wasted 30 seconds of your life, but I hope that I'm correct in remembering that I have done an underside on this one. Yeah, again, this one's a shared livery, Emeco. Thought I'd do something a little bit different as far as the AMG GT Mercedes Group 4 car, I believe this is, or maybe Group 3, I think Group 3. And yes, I am correct, I have done. So this one I did the AMG Motorsport decal on the underside. Now, as I said, you can see this wing is a fair bit flatter than that RCZ that I showed you how to do the underside livery on, and that's what I mean about sometimes the wing will just be that flat that you may think to yourself, for the kind of decal that you're thinking of putting on there, that it's not worth your while. Now of course you can, if you want to, you can actually bleed through a whole background colour, which might in turn make the decal easier to see. You can see that these are just, I haven't done that, but I could effectively go in there and, well, maybe I'll do it. Let's do that. Why don't we do it? Just so you can see the impact of it. So go into decal, I'll go to rear wing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that red now and I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to bleed it all the way through like I did before. And then what I have to do is I'll probably just have to move it, because what will have likely happened, because it's over the top of the AMG, is the AMG's disappeared. And you can see that the red hasn't really worked, has it? Because you can see the red and the AMG is flashing. So what I might do is just see, okay, it's a white and the AMG logo is white, so that's not going to work for me. But what about a grey, which, yeah, see, because you're not getting much light under there. And again, what I could do is I could make it white for the sake of it, then go back to the AMG Motorsport decal, which is there. Now, actually I've got to do two things here. I've got to leave that where it is for now. So leave that there. And I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to move that. Then I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to change the colour of it first, and I might make it red, seeing as I've now got the white background. And then what I'll have to do is I'll have to move the layer above the white. So I apologize, I haven't shown you the underside while I'm doing this, but basically, bada boom, bada bing, what we now have is what I think is more visible, but you tell me. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, maybe it's much the same. But the point is that you can do that. You can actually change the backdrop color as well, if you think that that will help you highlight the decal when the visibility is not that great. I'll save it. I don't know whether it's worse or better. I'll save it just as yeah, just so that it's there, I guess. No harm in keeping it like that. It just means that I have to go back into my library, and this is another tip for you guys, by the way. As you go down this path of creating liveries, you only have a certain amount of, if you like, memory or space to contain all of your liveries. And what a lot of people might be doing, as I did, is you'll be working on a livery, something will happen, a friend will come online, say, hey, come and race in a room with me, or you'll just have to leave the game and do, you know, the rest of your life has to go on, right? So you've got to go and do things. And so you'll save that livery so that you can come back to it and continue working on it. What invariably happens is every time you save that, the system is saving that version. It's almost like if you use any programs where there's a document control feature, and so if you start writing a Word document to be really simple, you save it, you put it in a common drive in the computer server, some other staff member grabs that because they need to add something to it. When they go to save it, they save it as a different version so that your version and their version are obviously separated. Effectively, you've now got two of the same documents saved and taking up memory. And obviously using up RAM when it goes to search, because it's now searching for two docs instead of one, effectively. Again, without getting into how servers work. So I've saved that, and I think it is more visible actually now that I look at it from there, so I'm actually happy I did it. So what you need to do is, when you do that sort of thing, when you finish the livery, is my suggestion, go into your library, and what you'll see when you go down to car livery is you'll see every car livery that you have ever saved. And so straight away you can see that I've got two RCZs because I just did a second save, and if you look closely you can see that one is at 10:58 on the 5th and the other one is at 10 o'clock. So technically I could delete this version of it because that is the later version of it, and I haven't done anything other than just do a bit of an update work. So hit your triangle button delete, hit yes. And by doing that, you'll see the Honda NSX here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 versions of it, because that one took me a bit of time. And so that spans across 2 days of design. So I can delete those versions as well. I won't do it right now. The Maserati the same, but what I want to do is find the Amico. Here you go. So technically speaking, I could remove one of these. One of them I need to keep because it's my original, albeit that I've just changed that rear wing. That one's the one I've shared, so that should be the one that I delete, and I should share this again as a different version. So I've got to have a think about that, because if I delete it, it means I have to reshare, and the people that downloaded it originally, I'm not sure how it impacts them, but it might impact them adversely, so I've got to think about it. But anyway, you get the idea of what you should do when it comes to your liveries. Another little tip in this field: if you see that little purpley blue icon with the triangle at the top right corner, that means it's a livery that you've shared. So as I said, I haven't shared a lot of my liveries, but certainly in the last 4 months I've shared a lot more than I used to share. Yeah, and you'll see as I start to go down the page, the share buttons will become less and less frequent, because I believe this is all in chronological / date order. So you'll start to see less and less of those little icons. Yeah, how far back are we? We're back to April, so I think from here on in there won't be a lot of liveries that I've created that I would have shared. And most of the ones that I did share early on were because friends really liked them and wanted them, but otherwise I felt that I shouldn't share them. I try to encourage the creativity of everybody to make their own liveries, but yeah. So you can see I've got a fair few liveries. So yeah, I do spend a bit of time on it, and it is an enjoyable. I think that is the first livery I ever shared. I think that's an updated version of it though, because I think 1 or 2 decals were deleted by the decal creators. That's the other thing too that I'll mention. Decal creators will also suffer the same problem of running out of space to save their decals, so they will potentially be deleting decals so that they can re-share newer decals. So just a flag when you go to open one of your older liveries in the Livery Editor tool, for example, or even in your garage, you might get a message popping up saying some decals could not be loaded. It generally means that the decal has been deleted from the decal library, and so the game basically removes it from the whole game. Yeah, sorry it's taking a bit of time for all the liveries to load, and I'm sorry if I'm going too fast for you to see. See that that's a duplication on the same car. I think I kept that because I don't often make multiple liveries for the one car. So what that means is pretty much every car you see, that is one car, but that I think is because I've been probably about to share it. But pretty much every livery you see will be on its individual car. Why do I do that? I do that because I go in a lot of car shows, and in car shows, because they're changing the category every round, if you want to show the same type of car but on a different livery, you have to actually exit out of the room, go into your garage and swap the library over on that particular vehicle. So I tend to just have a livery per vehicle, so that I can just go within the actual car show room. I can just go into my my gallery and grab the car I want, and I've got I can show you in a minute. I've got tons of the same kind of car, but with different liveries just sitting there ready for me to grab them as I need them. The Camaro is one example, although I notice I can probably delete these two. I don't need them. so I might do that as a bit of maintenance as I'm going. What did I do then? I hit the wrong button, my bad. No, I did it again. Yeah, and that one as well, because I'm pretty sure I haven't shared any of these. And usually they're in order, so you can be safe to delete them. And that just frees up space for another 2 cars for me to create, another 2 liveries. So there's another Camaro there. So there's 2. I think I went past some already up the top. But I think I've got 6 or 7 Camaros that I've done. There's another 2 there. Anyway, the list goes on. But there will be lots of double ups in here that I haven't gone back and gone through to remove the duplications to free up more space. There's another example of 2 of the same. But I will do it. Eventually I'll get to removing all of the duplicates. There I can see there's another duplicate there and there. So there'll be lots in here for me to do that I haven't done yet, just because I've had so many and I haven't I guess spent all my time. The other thing that you may be noticing as we scroll down the list is what I would term the variation in the caliber or the quality of the liveries. I think the early, oh there you go, that's the end. So technically speaking, that's saying that's the first livery that I designed. And I think it's fair to say that my skill back then was, you know, pretty terrible. Whereas if I go, you know, to current liveries that have been done in the last, say, 2 to 3 months, the level of detail, the quality of them, you know, is a lot more, I guess, improved. It's yeah. So this one I did, I think, 3 days ago. This one is probably my favourite car, or second favourite car in the game to drive, and I also love the look of it. So I've got 7 or 8 of these. In fact, let me get out of here now that I've sort of said everything I want to say about that, and I'll go into the Livery Editor, because in here I can do a search based on manufacturer, and then you can see them all in one go. So yeah, so that's one VGT BMW. There's a second one, which is a Spider-Man car. There's about 7 of them in total I've done. There's just a BMW Motorsport one. That's an Advan tyres. You can see the Advan. I've done it in reverse so that I can make the A in Advan run in line with what's called the C pillar of the car. Let me explain that a bit better than I just did, and it'll make more sense. So you can see the A. Let me go to preview mode. So there's the A in Advan, and I've made it run down the C pillar, and it does it on that side. So on that side, because the way we read, you know, left to right, it makes perfect sense for it to be sitting there like that. But for me to make it make sense on this side, I had to do the word in reverse. So you can see I've done a customized BMW decal there. I've customized all that Advan decal there at the front, and I've done custom decal on the top as well. So that was the third one, I think, wasn't it, of the BMWs? The VGTs, I should say. So there's 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that all of them? I think that's all of them. Yeah, so I've done 9. So I've got 9 BMW VGT cars sitting there, each with their own livery. And then similarly I drive a BMW, so that's, I guess, my reason for being a bit biased towards BMWs. And then I've also done a heap of what's called M4 GR4s, so that's an M4 GR4. So there's 1, 2, those two liveries are similar, but they're quite different when you see them up close. 3, 4, 5, sorry, missed one, 6, it's not a double up, is it? 7, 8, 9, looks like I've done 10. I think that's all of them. I think that's all of the GR4s I've done, yeah. And then there's obviously M6s as well that I've done. Yeah, I keep saying that I'm going to do a whole series of videos or broadcasts where I actually go through my whole garage, and then every time I say I'm going to do it, I end up getting distracted and I don't do it. So maybe what I should do is figure out a program, if you like, of doing it, because I've obviously got lots. You can see there by the number of cars. Now, the number of cars doesn't necessarily mean I've got a livery for every one. I've got a whole stack of cars that I haven't done liveries for. Predominantly the Japanese cars, to be honest, and they're the most cars I have. And you know, this is one of my bugbears with the game, and feedback, as I've said many times, for the game developers. Please stop giving us rubbish cars. We don't want 50 Toyota E86 11s or 30 Corollas or 40 Mark 1 Golfs. If you're a regular player like me, it's very frustrating to be getting all those cars when you would like to get other cars you don't already have. And I'm sure there's some intelligence that could be built in the game that says, yes, this person's been logged on for many, many, many hours and many days. They should be getting different cars than what we're giving them. Anyway, so I will go through and do it. And you can see there, 1 out of 2 I've done a livery for. This is a Batman livery, just to give you a bit of an insight. So I will go through on one broadcast. I'll probably have to do them in hour lots, I think, because otherwise it'd be too long and people would just tune out. But this is a Batman livery I did, I don't know, maybe 5 months ago. I just looked at the car, and I know that people that are Batman purists will say that I've used red and not orange. When I was doing it, I kind of wasn't fussed either way. I could definitely go through and just very easily change it to orange. I just haven't done it. But it was pointed out to me that in actual fact the Batman car is black and orange, not black and red. Anyway, so that one I've done, but obviously the other by postie I haven't done. So like I said, I will go through and I will do mark by mark or brand by brand. I will go through, and this is the futuristic Batman car, just to give you a context, I guess, between the one you just saw and the more modern version of one I've done. Again, I've used red, not orange, so I apologise. Yeah, so anyway, I will do it. I just need to, I guess, get myself to a point where I can be disciplined at doing it, so that I can do the series in a relatively short time frame, so that there is some sort of concurrency, so you're not watching the first edition broadcast, which might cover 2 or 3 brands, and then you've got to wait 2 months to see the next one. So I've just got to get myself to a point where I'm more structured and more disciplined around doing it. And again, I run a business, so it's not like I have lots of spare time on my hands. I pretty much use all my spare time to be on the game, but yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap the broadcast here, because I'm very mindful it's been going for 45 minutes. I'm very mindful of the value you're getting from watching this broadcast for this long. Please, as I said, subscribe and follow me on YouTube. If you do play the game, please seek me out. Iflowboy is not my game ID. It is F for Fred, or F for Foxtrot, 30, and then 330 I M Sport, and I'm pretty sure M Sport is capital M, capital S, and then PORT is all in lowercase. It's something like that. I don't imagine there's too many people with IDs similar to mine, so if you get the F30330I bit right, hopefully there's only 2 or 3 people for you to look at to confirm that you found my ID. And just send me a message or send me a friend request, and be happy to take you on as a friend. Happy for you to follow me on on Gran Turismo Sport as well. And obviously then you'll see any of the activity for any of the new liveries that I create and or share. So thanks very much for listening. To my mates, Thrimpy in particular, and Banana, I hope, and Cam Smoothie, I hope this was helpful, and it'll help you again to improve the quality of your liveries that you push out. And until next time, everybody, please take care, stay COVID safe, be kind to each other, and enjoy the rest of your weekend wherever you might be. Cheers now.